Hey everybody, good afternoon. Uh, Thanks for thinking I'm the best. I don't know if I'm the best, maybe not the best trader ever. I really try to help everybody. I certainly do. And I do appreciate all the kind words and support. I'm just a guy, though, just a guy. And sometimes I get it right, sometimes I get it wrong. And I mean, I guess that's what makes me real, right? A real person, unlike a TV personality that may or may not ever get things right. But hey, I'm here, I'm accessible, and spending my Tuesday evening with you for 30 minutes of awesome. We'll do at least 30 minutes of your request, as always. We'll talk about the CPI coming out tomorrow morning before the open. We'll talk about PPI. So here we are right now, Tuesday evening, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. It's the only request show I do a week, and welcome. We have, I guess this is the evening before the CPI potential storm. ES was pulling back all day. S&P 500, that is. Nasdaq kind of following suit. And, well, I was just reading a little blurb from affiliate Elliott Wave Titian. They run a popular Elliott Wave site. That's not the one I subscribe to. And they were saying we generally see a lot of divergence between the Dow and the S&P, like making highs and lows opposite each other as we come into a major market top. That's one thing, I don't typically watch the Dow. It's just, to me, I feel like it's so, there's the factors on those things are so just out of whack. It doesn't make any sense to me to use it for anything. But we can take a look at the Dow here if you want to while we're at it. So welcome everybody. Welcome all my channel members like General Rush. Good to see you, sir. Amy, Rungamer, Mad, Rex, Don, Sergio, Brian, Don, Darren, Andre. Love to have everybody here. All right. So without further ado, CPI coming up. And before we even talk any numbers, anything, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss, okay? So I focus on trading. I'm not really investing. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, and hopefully entertaining. Hopefully that's why you're here. It's not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument. If you desire that personal financial advice, well, you got to hire and consult a financial advisor, which is not me. I am not a financial advisor. I don't play one on YouTube. I don't play one on TV. I don't pretend to be one. So I don't try to give anybody advice, but sometimes I get lucky, and sometimes we make some money, right? Hey, Everett, good to see you as always. Good to see you as always. So that's the real thing right there. I throw that out there because I don't want anybody to think that I'm telling you what to do. All right, I just don't. Like, yeah, if you follow along with me, there's some stuff I do that's high probability, and I tend to make some money. And if you kind of hitch your wagon to my wagon, so to speak, you probably are on a good path. But got to be careful. And Jason right there threw me a message. Look at this on the S&P. I was like, yeah, isn't it crazy when you start seeing the patterns? It's like it's just a whole different. Like you're just like, wow, look at that. This might be a reason for the top. And it's just kind of wild when you start seeing it. Anyway, it's Fibonacci and Elliott Wave stuff has been by and far the largest difference maker, and a lot of people say that Elliott Wave and Fibonacci stuff is just voodoo because they don't take the time to learn it. It's not something you just pick up. Right? It's not like RSI. Here's a couple like above here you sell, below here you buy, and there you go. Let's move on. Elliott Wave takes some practice, and it's not one of the, like, you can learn the basics pretty quickly, but it's one of those things like you got to see a few things before you really master it. It's like you don't just get at a HVAC school or welding school or whatever school, trade school, and then you're the boss of the company. I mean, if you are, you're probably setting yourself up for trouble. You probably should do apprenticeship for a little while. And for me, that took about 4 years of struggling on Elliott Wave before I was like, ha, I'm getting it right more than I'm getting it wrong. And now here we are, I'm like on my 7th or 8th year now, maybe 7th year on Elliott Wave stuff. And it was like 4 years when I became a guru. I've been doing that for 3 years, so getting close to the 7th, about to finish up the 7th year. So getting close to starting the 8th year. It's just crazy. It's been that long since I learned this stuff. And why does it seem like I'm a pro? Because I sit here and practice it every single day. I practice it in the morning when I do my live show. I practice it every day, all day long while I'm trading. And then I come on here and do this show on Tuesdays. And just as many charts as I can handle. I sit there and make predictions. I set alerts. And, well, when I get it right, I get it right. And it's like, cha-ching, got it right. When I get it wrong, I'm like, what did I get wrong? And I'm always sitting there like, for those of you that have paid attention, I'm always trying to analyze, where am I wrong? Where might I be wrong? How can this tear me apart? You know, if I'm in the trade, where is it indicating that it's going wrong on me? That's a big thing. And once you start like figuring that out, it can be liberating. You can sleep at night. You don't have to worry about them. Like it's like, well, it's not doing the things that I think it's going to do if it's proving me wrong. So just got to wait. And very liberating. So CPI here coming out tomorrow. Came in a little hot last, we made the lowest low here. So far, we made that lowest low right there in October. November came in a little spicier, and it was spicier than September or October. Jobs report came in pretty nice, though, at the beginning of the month. So how's this all play? Was this the lowest low? We start turning? Maybe. Or was this just a little hump on the way down? One of these, and we keep drifting off. We keep drifting off. I don't know. You tell me. All right, you tell me. Which way is it going? Throw me back over here. Are we done making the low right here? Or are we going lower? It's a good question. I don't really have a prediction. I think we're probably going to keep it right in the ballpark of the forecast. Forecast is for a little higher. Yeah, 2.6, 2.7, a tick higher. It could come in a little higher than 2.7, so we'll see. We'll see what we'll get. All right, 2.6 with last one. It's kind of in line. We're expecting a 2.7, a little tick up higher. Now, the thing to watch is if we start breaking above this plateau we had earlier in the year. If we start breaking back above this, things are getting spicy again, and those rates might have to come up to tackle that right there. All right. What rates am I talking about? I'm talking about DGS2 over here. We don't talk about this every day because it doesn't really move very much. But look what we got. The blue line and the orange line coming together again. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Seeing them pinch. They've got a little room to make a quarter point cut, but that's getting it in the danger zone. They cut that on down. We're getting close. Getting close. They may want to hold here. That's next week coming up. FOMC meeting next week on Wednesday, 2 p.m. It's not on your calendar. It's not on your radar. Should be. There's not much room to cut here. In fact, this is rallying up off this low. Right? If the market rate crosses, if we cross above the Fed rate, they're going to be forced to raise rates. They always chase. Always chase. So that's something to watch. Right there. So we came in last rate cut cycle. This is very eerily similar. Very eerily similar here. We had the market rate coming down. We held steady. Then we started cutting. They cut through the market rate. And then you can say it if you want to, that the market freak out was COVID, but it was coming. There was a problem coming. Now, either we're closer to the problem and it's coming, Either the problem's getting ready to happen, or we might climb higher before we get to the real crux of the issue. And funny enough, my arrows are missing. Dun, 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 dun. Had those drawn on here for a long time. They're just gone. Just gone. So I had these drawn on here that maybe this blue would climb like this. And the orange would climb up there. And eventually we would have a problem up here. And up here is the market freakout. So this may very well happen. The orange may have to follow it again and cross over here. So this may be just taking a little longer than I thought we might. But it could push it out to a major problem. Now, I'm kind of drawing this out big. It actually could be much shorter. Like it could be like we got to raise it up like this. And then we have a problem right here. That could happen also. That's something to be careful of. But it also could just come apart. The wheels could just come off now, and we just... Rate cuts have not historically... every time the orange gets above the blue, since I've been trading... Thank you for keeping reminding me about my password. Anybody remember this one? Anybody remember this one? And this one. That was 3 major market flushouts. I made $1 million on this one. I learned after 2 goes of this, I learned what was coming. Guess what? We got another one. That makes 4 in my lifetime. 4 opportunities that have been telegraphed by the market. This thing's coming. There's no soft landing to this. There's going to be a market freakout. It's coming. It's coming, sweetheart, as they say on the commercial. It's happening. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. It's cooking. It's over here percolating. Probably go back to zero rate policy. More money printing. More inflation. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So, anyway, be careful. Then followed right up after CPI tomorrow, we have PPI coming up on Thursday. So this will hit 8:30 in the morning. We'll get these numbers. Market will start reacting immediately. Maybe a big reaction, maybe a small reaction. Right now, we're kind of biased down. We'll go through that here in a second. And then on Thursday, we get the PPI, which is the normal. It always messes with me when we get PPI before CPI, which is not the case this time. But anytime they put them out of order, it's like a red flag for me. Normally, we get CPI, then we get PPI the following day, right there. So this week, it's a normal release, and there's probably not any funny business, monkey business, big crazy stuff happening. But when they, it's always a caution to me when the PPI comes out before the CPI, something's happening. Something's not right. Glitch in the matrix. And then on Friday, we just have a benign day, regular day of trading. And then we roll into next week where we have retail sales and the FOMC meeting. So coming up right here on Monday, nothing much. Tuesday, again, nothing much. I guess we get some manufacturing PMI and services PMI after the market opens on Monday. Tuesday, we get that retail sales. Not much, but we do get retail sales 8:30 in the morning. That, so far, all the numbers have been pretty dang good on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, retail holiday shopping. Things are looking pretty good. I expect this to be good numbers. We'll see. So I expect those to be pretty strong numbers next week. And then we roll right into the FOMC meeting on Wednesday at 2 p.m. It's not a morning event. It's an afternoon event, as always, with a presser at 2:30. So Jerome Powell cannot resist talking to his public, his fan base. And he's going to speak right there. Get out there, get in front of it, talk to everybody. Tell them what we're doing. So watch out. There may be a rate cut, but that's dangerous. That's dangerous. So I'm just, as I've gone through, if you came in late, you missed it. I talked about why a rate cut is dangerous at this point. It's getting dangerous. All right. They don't want to get below the market rate. Now, Thursday, just kind of wrapping up the week here. Not a lot. Get some GDP, some Philly Fed, existing home sales. We kind of dump some news here. Then we get PCE on Friday. Right there after FOMC. We get that one. And then we go into holiday week. So in case you're not aware, early close on the market on Christmas Eve. Then we get Christmas. Then we're back open Thursday and Friday. Regular days. Back open Monday regular. Bonds are closed early on 31st. Holiday here. So these 2 weeks are going to be messed up trading weeks. So we got the rest of this week and next week. And with a volatile FOMC meeting thrown in there. So good luck. Be careful. You might lose money. All right. So I talked about this morning, how tariffs, you say tariffs from China going to be inflationary. So last time Trump was in office, this is the thing. Everybody's freaking out. Like tariffs, tariffs on everybody. Oh my gosh, burn it down. So here's the deal. China is the biggest producer. They produce like 32% of the goods, all the goods in the world that are consumed. The U.S. is the biggest consumer of goods. Right? We are the second largest manufacturer of goods in the world at like 17% of all goods produced. And we're just kind of broad brushing over the fact that the goods aren't necessarily equivalent. All right. China produces some stuff that the U.S. doesn't produce. The U.S. produces some stuff that China doesn't produce. But from a big picture, high level thing, 32%, 16%, 16, 17, 31, 32. Roughly right in there. And Trump has been in office before, and he put tariffs on China before. What did China do before? Were those prices instantly raised and put on consumers? No. China ate the tariffs because they wanted to maintain their market dominance. Right? This is a game. This is way bigger than a game of just, checkers or even chess. All right. This is like Game of Thrones. Like, do you eat the tariffs to maintain the dominance over the U.S. market? That's a big question. Like, possibly. And, Trump also can talk things into existence, unlike any other president we've had in recent memory. My memory, anyway. Like, he basically got the president of Mexico to agree to all the things he wanted just by telling him he's smacking tariffs on him. And he was kind of telling Canada, well, the tariffs aren't a negotiation, so let's talk about some other things. And maybe the tariffs actually happen, maybe they don't, if he gets what he wants. So it's like the tariffs aren't going to, we're not using that as a negotiation tactic. So let's talk about things where we actually want. So, by being a hardball negotiator, kind of gets what he wants. So we've already got Mexico going to be the police to the southern border, and we've already got Mexico going to, start cracking down on fentanyl and stuff like that. Those are things that Trump wanted. And guess what? They're already playing. So, I mean, hey, if you can talk it into existence, you may not actually have to do it. All right. So once the tariffs actually happen, then we can see what the effects are. So how do you make money on the freakout? It depends on what the freakout's going to be. And that's why I keep coming back. We've already got some plays in action here. Waiting. You got to look at what's most likely to get hit. What's most likely to be the problem. And right now, where's the biggest problem? Where's the biggest thing coming down the road that nobody's talking about being bad? And nobody's listed this being bad right here in the whole conversation we've had so far since we started. What's the number one thing that's likely to be bad? that nobody else is talking about. Coming up soon. We got a month and 2 weeks before this starts. Doge. Department of Government Efficiency. That's likely to be very bad. Why? Look at GDP growth. Where did GDP growth come from since the summer of 22 when we started a recession? What saved GDP from continuing to be negative? Increased government spending. The one and only thing that has saved GDP from being negative for the last two and a half years. What happens if you cut out government spending in a big way? Bad things are going to happen. These are the unintended consequences. It's not going to be like ripping a Band-Aid. It's going to be like cutting a leg off. It's going to hurt. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody, like, I don't see anybody else talking about it. So I see it coming. It may not be immediate problems, but it's going to be like likely Q1, maybe even into Q2. It's like a heroin addict taking away the drugs. They go into withdrawal, severe withdrawal. So, what's the problem I see coming? That's the problem I see coming. All right. Everybody got it? Everybody cool? I think it's extremely dangerous and reckless, but I mean, look at what happens to Tesla every time that Elon comes in and starts cutting giant amounts of people, making giant cuts and spending and staff, and we cut, we start breaking stuff, and then start hiring people back. Can you do that with the government? Does that work that way? So, I don't know. We're about to find out. I don't think people are ready for what's about to happen. I just don't. Everybody thinks it sounds like a great idea. Just cut the government spending. That's the big problem, right? We all can agree that's the big problem. The solution, it's not going to be all roses and parades. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. Keep coming back. I don't have a defense today. All right. So we jump into the red list and kind of go through it here. ES right now. Too early to defend against this yet. We don't know where the cracks are. The cracks haven't started yet. So ES right here. We've been talking about this for 2 days now. Funny how it just keeps drifting on down. We had that resistance. We turned right down from it, blasted through that support, came down to this support, bounced, blasted through, retested it this morning right here. Where did these levels come from? We'll show you in a second. That one was the 30-minute roadmap line right there. This one was the 1 hour right here. We were right here this morning, back testing it right at the open. We got below it yesterday. We're testing it this morning. I said, well, that's likely to continue on down. And we're probably heading right down here. Where does this one come from? It's the 4 hour roadmap line right there. Likely to come on down, test this one. It's only been a few weeks since we've been down here. We come down, test it every few weeks. Likely to do it again. Now, if it doesn't hold, that's where the bigger flush potentially comes in. Down into the, potentially we see this flush on down into Christmas, New Year's, possibly even the inauguration. Then government efficiency, everything, Trump get in office. This may take off, go make a higher high. Then the realities of Doge come in and we make a big flush. That's kind of the path I got right now. Probably going to do a correction. Maybe through the inauguration, maybe just through Christmas time. start rallying. Everybody's excited again. Trump's in office. Good things coming. Scary thing is maybe it makes a lower high. Maybe we don't make another high. Maybe it just bounces, makes a lower high, and then we break support and the big flush out. So this over here is where we start looking for protection. Still got one more to go. All right. I am short right now with a 6,000, 5,600. I have a long 6,000 put, short 5,600 put. That's a $400, 400 point range right there. If we roll bigger, I'm going to cash that baby out. It's out into January. January right there. So lots of red on the chart. That's what I did. I bought a 6,000 put. I bought it on ES. Like I did this in the futures. Not suggesting you should do futures. I bought sold a 5,600 put. So this is a put debit spread right there. 400 point wide. I spent, I think I spent 30 points. Points $50. Spent about 30 points buying it. It's already up like a couple $100. If it goes up 400 points, that'd be pretty sweet. If we do that big thing like we did back here in August, they'll probably run the IV up so much that I won't make any money, but hoping for a slower burn here. Not one of these 3-day burns like we did in August. Nasdaq. This one not quite nearly as bearish when we dive down and look at this. Holding up the 1 hour so far. We hadn't, as of this morning, we hadn't tested the 1 hour. Today we have. We're still on top of it. So this is still potentially bullish for an expansion higher, but caution. Like if we start breaking below it, start getting below the low we made today, this can flush on down to the 4 hour. If you're unfamiliar with the roadmap line, where I came up with this beautiful piece of support resistance, link is in the description. It's like, called the market roadmap line. Charge $5 for it. But also, if $5 is just too much, no big deal. You can go to my channel homepage right underneath me, click my name down there, my little logo, go to the channel homepage, pin to that. I give you the code for free. Yeah, you got to do it yourself. It's a DIY proposition, but I teach you how it works and the code, like what it is, teach you how to use it, what the pattern is. But you can see it pretty clear here. We tend to bounce off of it from the high to the low, draw the fibs. We get above the 618 level. Tends to be resistance, but get above, and then we rally right up to targets right there. Get to that target, and then we tend to roll over again. Sometimes we get higher targets, sometimes not. Plays out over and over. That's why you're here, right? So, who's to blame? We're to blame. Andre, who's to blame for government spending? We are. We let it happen. Every voter in the United States. Collectively, we all are to blame. How do you purchase it? Links in the description. It's like just click the more button right underneath here and click the button. It's like jeffreytrader.com/MRMYT. Market Roadmap YouTube. YouTube special, $5. And then you get like an easy button. I have a link. You just click it. It adds it right up here to your favorites. And it's called the Market Roadmap right there. And you just put it on the chart. Right in the favorites. So I don't have it on this chart. I have it on the Market Roadmap page right there. Market Roadmap right there. It looks just the same. that line right there. That's it. I got a few extra things in there that I don't turn on. There's a few extra bits and pieces into it. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Moving on. So Nasdaq, not quite as bearish yet. Russell, look at where we already are. Ooh. Already testing. Already testing the 4 hour. Caution. Caution lights in the cockpit. Flashing warning. Flashing warning. We get below. Next one down. Right down here. That's our small caps. So I've looked at general market, best performance, big tech, still holding up pretty good. And the small caps already showing a lot of weakness. And then, as I said in the beginning, take a look at Dow. Looking a little rougher here. Let's go check this out. Sit on the 4-hour. This is similar to Russell here, showing a lot more weakness than the broader economy here. Excuse me. It's my burger sliders talking back to me. So this is a little bit concerning here. This is Dow. I don't usually look at Dow, but I figured just for the sake of it, let's check it out. Already down to the 4-hour. This can bleed on down. S&P still got a ways to go to the 4-hour. So, warning lights are flashing. CL, look at that baby. Churn in the bottom. Churn, like we held the uptrend here. That low, that low, that low, that low, this low, this low. So far, we're holding it. So far, keeping it intact. Softening up though. This made a higher low, so softening up the downside though. If we bust through, it's gonna lead to a bigger downside move. Set your alert. If we get lower than this low, watch out. We're probably going right down here around 60. Quick correction. That could be down. It could down there in a couple days, even one day. We could get down there in one day. It's done it before. Down below that, even further down, $50 support. Why $50 support? Comes from this big wide range right here in the beginning of this choppy sideways consolidation. Then we've got a smaller consolidation under the bottom of it. This is like a double watermelon seed squeeze with a smaller version, and it can lead to the pop that goes all the way down. So this, oops, grabbing the wrong thing. This right there comes from this range over here. Stuck right down the bottom like that. That's why those zones are there. All right, this little guy is this tighter zone right here, and then this bigger guy is this bigger zone from over here. We've been consolidating on oil since all the way back here. We kind of started this back in the summer, or actually, I guess the late spring, May, June, and we just keep on squeezing it. I call it a watermelon seed squeeze. When we have lower highs and higher lows, price tends to squeeze the range, and then it pops. And just like squeezing a watermelon, it's unreliable where it's going to go. All right. It's like throwing Jello for distance, trying to predict where this is going. Exactly. We know about how far it's going to go. We just are not sure which direction. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, on the phone. Okay, so here you go. I'll give you, type it in here. Go to right like that. I'll throw it in the chat. Probably help if I pull it over, but oops. Pull this over. Come on. Throw it back in there. There you go. So the bubble's not in the way. I can throw it in the chat here. Right there. There you go. There you go. You can click that link. And it should take you there. All right. In the description. Alrighty. Moving on. So that was oil. This is European oil. Also looking equally soft here. Sitting right at the lows. Guess what? Drill, baby, drill. And fracking is bearish on oil prices. That does. Think about it. Why would you want more supply and demand? When you increase supply, what happens to prices? Demand's flat. What happens? Supply and demand. 101. Economics 101. If you haven't taken economics in 101, that's okay. Google supply and demand curve. Supply goes up. Demand stays flat. Price goes down. That's the way this works. All right. Gasoline still being soft. This is starting to drift off. Looks like it may break down. Could go down to $1.60. Heating oil also being soft and may get a flush down to about $2. Natural gas. This is a curious one here. We tried to break down, tried to recover, rejected. So now we're stuck in between this zone here. A break above about 340 indicates we're going on up to maybe $4. A break down below $3. We're probably coming back to the roadmap line around 260, 250. And it could develop into even deeper move down to about $2. It's something to watch. Those are the kind of the range to watch on natural gas right now. As long as we're in between there, we could just stay sideways, just bouncing in this range. I think a break above 340 indicates we're going up. A break down below 3 indicates we're in for more downside. So there you go. There you go. All right. Gold. Look at that. Came right up to the level. Did not break out today. Golly, man. Gonna wait till tomorrow. Tell us which way we're going. Beautiful potential. Need to break above that high from back a couple weeks ago. Get above that, we can go rocking and rolling higher. SI, same situation, different chart, different pattern, but same situation. We've got that resistance right there that I drew. Feels like weeks ago now. We break above it. Game on for those higher prices. Copper. This is more bearish. The high back here. Lower high. Lower high. Still lower high. And we're under the roadmap line. That's a bias down. Watch for a bigger flush. Watch out for the bigger flush. I think we need a lower low than we had all the way back here in July of 22. Funny enough, copper bottomed out way before the market did. Right there. This was a big three-wave corrective up into this high right here. Yes, it did make a slightly higher high, but that's well within the ability of a correction. Just got a little overexcited, pushed it a little too high on the futures. Now we've set up a potential 1, 2 potential of a C wave down, 3, 4, 5, and it would be 3 is going to be a little more spicy than what I drew. So just watch out. 3 probably going to come down here, 4, 5 like that to wrap this up. Then when we make a bottom and turn, then everything can start looking okay. Now it may not stop just right there at 280. It could go even lower, but so watch out for that. All right, we'll get to requests in just a second. So Bitcoin hit crypto really quickly, just consolidating. It looked like it was gonna turn positive today, and then it went for another dip, and then ended up closing almost flat. Almost flat. I mean, it's about to close the day almost flat. Right there. So watch for this thing to break out. If we get up into the 115, 120,000, I think things are going to get really spicy for miners. But we may just grind it sideways for a little while. It took a lot of energy to get up here. It took a lot of energy. I mean, think about that. We were down here just a few, not even, gosh, what? Didn't even seem like that long ago. August 5th, when the market flushed out, we were down here. Now we're all the way up here. Look at that. That was a heck of a move right there. 93% upside right there. I mean, we've had as high as 100%. Right there at that high. Sitting right at 93% roughly. That's a heck of a move. We probably need to, that was a hustle. We probably need to rest just a little bit, all right? Take a breather before we make that next move. I do expect us to go on up, probably top out. 150, 170 is the most likely place to top out. Crypto summer. Sometime between now and October next year, I expect that to top out and then start into crypto winter. Next crypto winter, probably 80% downside again. So where does that leave us? 80% downside from that ideal target, somewhere down around 30, 40,000. Make another bottom. Right in here, right in here, right in here. Probably come up, probably come down, make another bottom sometime late 26, probably mid-late 26, 2026. That'll be the belows, and then we'll start on the next halving rally into 2028. That's the game plan. Ethereum, this one's struggling. We did touch a nominal higher high. So this is not a 1-2 down. This high right here in March, this high right here, just what, last week, Friday maybe, was higher than this high back here in March. So this is the high to watch. Retracing, we could come all the way back down to the roadmap line before we can get the energy to break out through that resistance in earnest and go retest the all-time high. If we can get through that all-time high, targets are up here around 6,000. So far, it's the weaker of the two. Weaker of the two. All right. Dun, 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 dun. So it's not ES down in January. You're kind of simplifying what I said. All right. It's that time of the day where I do request for at least 30 minutes. You need to give me complete capital letter tickers. If you're going to request a crypto, I need the pair, whatever pair it is, whether it's Sol or Ethereum or BTC ETH or BTC US dollars, whatever it is, I need the whole ticker. One request per person per request. If you request a whole bunch, I'm going to skip you. If you start dominating the chat, I'm going to skip you. And I give priority to channel members, which are the green names in the chat. I'll give priority to them, and I'll come back and get everybody else. So that's the way it goes. Thank you for being channel members, and that's my way of thanking you. So looking at the list, we have LYFT. I'll probably get way behind before I start catching back up. So if you ask me a question, I probably won't see it for a few minutes. So please use complete sentences and reference the ticker and chart you're talking about. So lift right here. Still got upside potential. May retrace to the roadmap line before we can bounce, but looking like upside potential, probably 26 maybe. Has a nice 1-2 measured bounce type setup. We definitely went a little deep, but that sets us up. I would watch for a turn down at 22. We really want to see it push on up into that 26 area. And if it's going to get bullish continuation, we'll see it rally on up into that 30, 31 area before we see a correction and then break on out. So that's the indication right there. All right, next up, QTOW. That's kind of the lowest low. So this, on this time scale, there, we did hold a nominal higher low. Looking at the monthly, nominally, barely. So this does set it up for a potential to go up bigger, much bigger, much bigger. Now it depends on if you're on log mode or not log mode. If you're on log mode, which makes it look a little better, that would be the target area right up here. Maybe 292, kind of the same targets as we just talked about on lift. Same fib levels. Now this isn't a market roadmap bounce. You don't see the market roadmap on here. It's not a market roadmap bounce. This is a Fibonacci measured bounce with a target right there. How does that work? You draw a fib from the high to low right here. We hit this 618 retrace right there. Held right in there. Makes a Elliott wave 1, 2, or potential. And this is the other potential is it's an A and a B. It might be a 1 or the other. Doesn't matter which, but that leads to a 3 that could be up here, or a C, which could be right here. And that's why this is the target area. It's the more conservative target right there off that move. How long could it take? Well, you can see over here, this could be well into the 2030s before we get up there. So there you go. WBA. Almost said WNBA. WBA. Ooh. Yikes. On the monthly chart, that looks like we're flushing down. Where's the bottom? Could be down here. Let's check on our daily charts. See what we got. We are highway to the danger zone. Resistance right there at that roadmap line. And if we turn down, well, how low can she go? We can go to 0. We can go out of business. Heard talk that WBA and CVS ought to merge. They both look like pretty trash charts right now. Whew. Hawking legal drugs on the side is not a lucrative business, it appears. At least not right now for them. All right, and UNH. Oh, right back to the roadmap line. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful retrace. So there's the high. Here's the low. Potential. See, I guess CEO got whacked, for a better term, right there. Murderized. Led to a correction. Break above the 618. Going on higher. 643. Entry above 6. If it continues to be weak, watch out for further decline. This one's been pretty tough to predict for a while. This was one heck of a choppy correction. Lasted a good long time. Over here, we had basically the highs of the range, the lows of the range, and we came up just shy of that target right there at 635. So there's potential for this to be played out. We could go one more time. But there's potential for this to be played out and we go for a bigger correction. So, caution. I wouldn't play that with large size unless you just got a healthy appetite for that potential move. All right. I just skipped the chat. That was pretty smooth. And LTBR. Light bridge. That's a choppy sideways. I wouldn't touch it. Monthly chart, that's a downtrend. Plummeting to the abyss. 0 is a real potential on that one. Just don't see much great potential here for a giant reversal. That's very overlapping. Move up, very deep retrace. Didn't make a higher high. So at this point, here's what to watch. That high, that low, that high. This zone just happens to be right where the roadmap line is. This right here, if we get below that, we can come right down in here pretty easily. So there's your like level to watch. If you're already long, if you're looking to get long, it's not for me. You have to look for somebody else to tell you on that one. ECO. Dun, 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 dun. Potential bounce in place. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Got the resistance right there at 254, upside 265, 268. And Best Buy, I'm riding it, even though it's not looking so hot. I got it in on a 30-minute time frame and fired off right there, and then been nothing but down. Still got the lows way down here. Dollar below the low is the stop out for me. We still got opportunity to turn and burn. The upside target potentially up here at 97 for the smaller time frame, 30-minute. I'm just talking about that one because I'm in it. And looking at the daily, with the bigger bounce potential that would fire off as we got to the target here. So you could decide to stay in or add position for the bigger ride that may take longer. So far, it hasn't kicked that off. That kicks off up here above that 618 at 96, basically. For a bigger move. It's Best Buy for you. All right, Google. Target's still the target. Firing it off with the little close up here today. 199.50. And TMF. I'll come back and get everybody. TMF, that bounced off the roadmap line. This is leverage stuff. Be careful. There's 4 things that don't commonly hold the pattern. Leverage. One of those things. All right. Low price stuff. Equities under 10 bucks. Doesn't count cryptos or futures or anything like that. Just equities under 10 bucks. Don't follow the patterns. Biotechs. That's stuff that like the Food and Drug Administration's involved in. Biotech, pharma, medical specialty, medtech, you name it. Healthcare stuff. Doesn't always follow the patterns. Why? Because the Food and Drug Administration just says, hey, you suck. We don't approve your drug. Game over. And Or, hey, you barely turned in anything, but we're going to approve your drug on a emergency basis. And then, and it's like, it just makes it extremely hard to predict. So the fourth thing though on the list is China stuff. I've touched that hot stove too many times, and it's just on my list for danger. They play by different rules. Even though they're U.S. listed, they don't play by the same accounting rules as U.S. owned companies. So be careful on that one. So this is a leverage stuff. It is under the roadmap line, and that does indicate we may go lower. That would be the caution on TMF. Moving on, keys. And in a sideways consolidation, Keysight Technology making, these guys make testing equipment like oscilloscopes, and looks like more sideways action. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. I can just pull up a chart and kind of give you my high level analysis pretty quickly. Woof. Where's the bottom, baby? So this is one of those, if you believe it's doing the high big time frame bounce, and these are some ridiculous upside targets that maybe we shouldn't even talk about log scale. It's pretty deep. Could go lower, could make a lower low. Entirely possible. It could make some giant upside though. All right. Giant upside potential, but it also has potential to go to zero. This is buy a small, lower risk position with a giant upside potential here. That's kind of the way I feel about it. When you look at the log scale, potential for this to hold this $5 area, bounce back up, break back above the daily roadmap line up here, and get rocking and rolling. And that could be an absolute ridiculous target. I'm not even suggesting we get that high, but what if, right? So I have a few shares I picked up right there. Next up, Oracle. Churn and churn and churn and burn and burn and burn. Probably coming back to the roadmap line would be my guess. As I said this morning, a lot of these I hit this morning, so nothing really changed. Still expecting that to come on down. IGV. And watch for that that's going to be an extension target. That 272. And we come back down to the roadmap line. How do I know it's 272? Because of the colors. 272, 109. That's resistance. Climbing the fib ladder. You see it struggled. Struggled in the beginning, and then it got a little acceleration. Struggled right there. Consolidated sideways. That's kind of what Bitcoin's doing right now. Then we accelerated. We didn't even stop at the 1618. And then right to the 272. Can come down, but it also can climb the fib ladder. Those next upside levels, 116, possibly 133, 134, right up there. There you go. All right, next up is AAL, American Airlines. Nice turn. Nice turn. We got resistance at this prior high, though. Coming up right there. Doesn't really have much I can rely on. That's just one giant move off this low that we did back here in August. Just one giant rip. That's what happens next. We need a pullback. I'm a trend pullback continuation. All right, this one big move does not make a trend. It's just a rip. You need some sort of trend with a pullback and continuation and a pullback and continue. Like you need some kind of uptrend that works with pullbacks. If you just rip it, well, there's the resistance. That's what we got. All right. And BA. As I said this morning, we're coming up into the resistance at the roadmap line. Get above there. It's the first confirmation. We'll probably come back and retest it before we get the big move. And that big move potentially going out up to 600. This is the first sign. You know, this is the first move up a test. We got to break above. This is potentially confirming that the move is done. If we break above the roadmap line, that's the confirmation that this whole correction that I called last year has finally concluded right here. I was cautious here. I played it up here and then waited for this, and we got it almost exactly to the level I called. And now potentially done, but we got to get confirmation. Confirmation happens, break it above the daily roadmap line, coming back, retesting it, And it may not retest it for a while. It could do that straight up rip like the last one we just looked at. AAL could make one big giant run up. And it's like, holy, where are we going to get the pullback? And then it may do it. And that's the point where it confirms that we're potentially going to go higher. When we hold that and we turn and burn. So we got to get the retest. All right, if we just rip it from here, doesn't give much opportunity. You just have to buy on a hope and a prayer right now. It's like entry potentially now, and your risk is all the way to the lower low. Dun, 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 dun. And Twilio. This has made one giant rip the last couple weeks. Gosh, since June, just been ripping. And where is it going to stop? Potential resistance right in here. No opportunity to really get in. We came right up into that zone. Look, see, this was higher lows coming across here. So it's very hard to predict on this one. Had higher lows, but we were holding that, and then boom, we popped above, and now we can get acceleration. It can take us right up into this zone. What happens here kind of matters. Like if we, like this price action is not terribly reliable at this point. If we turn down, we can go lower low. So that's a key zone there on Twilio. MDB. Still all the same things I've said several days now. We're at this resistance zone, and in the post market, looks like, and we kind of sitting flat here back at the roadmap line. So we rejected, just like I was just talking about, rejected that 618, came back down to the roadmap line. We hold here, turn back, break higher, got this resistance right above us at 480-ish right now. Here's the uptrend of supports. Right there, the uptrend of lows, we break through that, and down is where we can go very quickly. It's a big downtrend of highs at this point. That's the upside resistance. Here's the support. So in the first red flag, we break through that uptrend of lows. Then we're probably going deeper, maybe down to the 786, maybe even lower low on down there. So it has a beautiful potential setup for a big bounce, but it can wreck that pretty quickly. Sometimes they do. They don't all work out. This is why I don't say this is a higher probability pattern. It's just a pattern that I look for. This is the big money maker. And this pattern makes a lot more money than the roadmap pattern. But the roadmap pattern is 75% likely to work out. This one, probably closer to 50-50. At least that's what all the statistics I run on finding these. How can we improve that? I try to find good ones. This one already proven it by breaking through the daily roadmap line. As long as we hold above it, upside looks likely. But if we break below it, we can easily come on down. It's MDB for you. All right. All right, that got all the channel members. If any more channel members make requests from now on, I'll come and get you at the end. All right, Burl, going back to the top. Burlington Coat Factory. Hey, upside potential. Looks like we're getting through that choppiness right there. Caused us a little trouble. If we can push on through on higher, looks like set up the target 430 up here. That would be the push into that all-time high, and then 424, 430 area right up in there would be the upside target. Moving the deadlines. Can't move them when I try. Like there's not even any handles on the thing yet. It let me grab it and pull it over there. So stupid. Anyway, I can't grab one when I try. Like look at that. I can't grab the stupid oval. There he goes. Can't move it when I try, but I can grab a fib line or a target alert and move it no problem. I don't know. Anyway, SPOF. And remember, if I say anything that's helpful, beneficial, give me a like along the way. Do appreciate it. SPOF, I'm not sure that's what you're looking for, but that's just chops in a range pretty much. It's a giant oscillator, it looks like. Chop, 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 chop. That's a lower high and a higher low. That's probably expand the range. Looks very similar to S5FI, but S5FI. This one's been just tightening up the range here. Now look at that. As we drifted off, we've been dropping. And the market's back open. Futures market back open. I did, let's see, S5TW. 5TW. The version real quick. And I did predict this was coming back down to the bottom. Look at that. Imagine that. If we get down to 20, that's where the market can do a big bounce. I mean, we could do it, but we're in the vicinity where we bounced once, twice, 3 times, 4 times this year already. Actually, this fall, 4 times this fall. So watch out. We could come up on a market reversal tomorrow morning on the CPI number. All right. Did Best Buy already. GE coming back down to the roadmap line for the first time in a long freaking time. Last time we were here, last time we actually touched it was all the way back here in December of 22. Missed it here. Missed it here. Needs the touch. And if it doesn't hold, we could go on a deeper correction. Possibly all the way back down here. I would be cautious. If you don't have a plan to book profit, if you're long, you should make a plan. If you are looking to enter, I wouldn't buy now. I would wait until we actually bounce and start proving we're going higher. Get through the 618. Where would that 618 be? Well, let's just move the fib line over and talk about it. This high, this potential low down here at the bottom of the box, and that 618 potentially at 182 would set up a move up to 200 right there. PLTR, the next upside. Gotta put this back in log mode. Next potential upside 107 right there. And NVIDIA, if you don't understand what's going on there, that's a giant upside potential extension. This would be first move up, very shallow kind of choppiness with a little baby 3 and an extension. I mean, it's really messing with the rules of Elliott Wave here, but best I could do right now. Trying to guess where that might top out. This looks like a 1, 2, 3, or possibly 1, 2. I don't know. It's really difficult in here. This might just be a 5th wave extension. This be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and this be a 5 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could come up to 167-ish. If we do that, we may be in for a deeper retrace. Maybe that back down in this 50 to 70 area. Possible. But right now, 107 would be where I'd gun for and be ready to bail, because roadmap line's all the way down at like 39 right now. It's kind of a 50-50, right? 1 to 1. Like, we could come all the way down the roadmap line. We could come all the way up here. So, all right. Will Bitcoin follow ES down? Maybe. It's a risk on, risk off asset, so it may do that. Just to answer that question again. AMD, same target I've had. Nothing's changed. No new developments. Anything lower than this, anything lower than this low could complete this, but ideally I want to see it in this 85 to 105 area right here. It's kind of the same target I've been looking for since, gosh, I think even before we made this ultimate, like the same target zone I've been looking for since back here. Basically when we topped out early in the year. Been looking for the same target zone. I fine-tuned it just a little bit, but it's basically been the same target zone for the retrace on AMD. And NVIDIA, didn't mean to skip it, but watch out. Support here at the roadmap line. Get below that. Bigger downside and bigger downside. Why would I say that? If you're new here, let's just take a little trip back in memory lane here. Look at that, 67% pullback. That wasn't even that long ago, 2022. 67% pullback. Let's go a little bit back further. There's another one. At 56% pullback. Let's go back a little further. Oh, make some giant runs, but then guess what? Right back over here. After another giant run. Now, it was never like 50 cents. All right. These splits mess with the price. So remember, we just did it at 10 for 1 splits with, and this one back here was another 3 for 2. So, but this one right here, still didn't change the percentage of pullbacks. 84% pullback right there. 2008. Rolling on back. Oh, look, another one. 89%, 88%, 89% pullback, and that's not even to the bottom. Woo! A 90% pullback. Man, so that's like 5 pullbacks we've done in the history. 4 or 5 pullbacks. Moving them. See, grab it, move it. So what would it look like with a 60, 70, 80, 90% pullback? It's done in the past, so there's a 50. Right to the bottom of that target. How about a 60? 5? 48? How about a 70? Ooh, 30s? That's pretty rough. Maybe even 75% all the way down to the bottom of the arrow. Yikes. Be careful. I own a 2027 $120 strike put. I actually own a bunch of them. Sit on them right now. That's the support. If we bounce off it, we can go higher. We did that right here. Came down very violently. Found support. Moved up. Held a higher low. Moved up. Boom, right to the target. Now we're in a retrace again. Be careful. That looks all like a head and shoulders right there too. Be careful. Upside feels very played out to me. I'm not always a bear on NVIDIA. I bought right here. I bought shares right there. When everybody else said I was crazy. You're crazy. That thing's going to drop out. Look at that. Just done a 70% correction. Moved barely off the low. We're coming back down. Deep retrace. You know what that was? Look at that. It was that measured bounce I was talking about earlier. 1, 2. 2. And large upside. Oh, that was cool. Large upside. All right. Be careful out there. And waste management, come back to the roadmap line. Very easy on that one. Did NVIDIA, Mora. Stuck at the resistance. Tried to poke through. May come back to the roadmap line. May come back to the uptrend of lows. That's very sloppy on this chart. It was paralleled off of the uptrend of highs. May come back down. Here's the roadmap line right there. Here's the uptrend. So there's the support zone. We may come back in there before we can go like that. I expect if Bitcoin gets to that 115, 120, that we're going to see some upside targets in here. 39.40, and then if things get really spicy, we've got these bigger targets, like absolute insane bigger targets. Maybe log mode's too aggressive for this chart, and we should just be talking like 100, maybe even 130. A blast on up. Be looking for targets up here. Triple digits is what I've been holding out for 4 years, 5 years. I got in some of my positions at $8 cost. Some of my position added in here at $3, $4 cost. So had positions since back here at 8 and added in, and I got like $250,000 riding on this baby. All right, Lulu. Type them in order. LULU. Nice. It's got the potential measured bounce for that bigger upside. If you can break out. Here's the high. Here's the low. We're right in the zone to confirm the breakout. The bigger move. Rocket ship, baby. Right up in there. All right. Tesla. 500 is still the target. Nothing changed. Coming up into that prior high resistance there. Seeing a little chop. We can push through it. We're in clear air. 500 has been my long-term target. Gosh, I've had a $500 target since before the split. It was $1,500 targets, what it used to be for this 3-for-1 split back here. So $500 target, possibly up to 600. It's possible. For those of you that got in TSLA with me, it's been a pretty dang good ride, right? Bought my last big chunk right here at 10. Riding 2,500 shares with a cost around 10 bucks. It's feeling pretty dang good right there. I sold 35s for this week. If we don't get it, probably keep holding it. If we get that 500 target on Tesla, probably looking at 45 on TSLL. Yeah. Would I buy now? Shoot, no. That's danger, baby. You're late. You missed it. Wait for the next one. We'll have another opportunity. Uber. Probably coming on down. NVO. Probably coming on down. Resistance at the roadmap line up here. And we came up a little shy of the ultimate target on the downside. I would watch out. So here's the resistance and here's the support down here. And MCD. McDonald's. McRib's back. If you didn't know, watch for that. Breakout target right up there. There's the resistance. There's the gap, though. Careful, it has a gap down. Gap downs are kind of tricky, right? So people bought, all right? Just think about the psychology of a gap down, all right? This doesn't work for gaps ups. It only works for gap downs. Psychology. This people were buying. People bought right into that high right there. People were buying. Next day, earnings hit. Gap down. OMG. 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 I'm stuck. I'm stuck. Bleeds off, right? You maybe double down. You're like, all right, we're recovering. Then we go down more. Oh, sugar honey iced tea. Let's buy some more. Now we're going to recover. Get back up here. You're back to break. You're back to break even. You're back to maybe even green if you double down. What do you want to do when you get right here? GTFO. You just want to get the fudge out. You go to the party, get the fudge out, you know? And you know, you just want to get out. Oh, it saved me. Thank goodness, right? What does that usually do? Causes rejections. We rejected over here. Potential to reject here. If we fill the gap, potential to reject down again. So that's why beating the gap downs is important. Doesn't work the same way on gap ups. Like people aren't like selling into the lows and then it gaps up and you're like, oh, I missed out. And usually you're like, thank God that I'm out and I don't have to worry about it. You usually move on. So that's why it doesn't work the same way with gap downs. All right. NVS. Well, that broke the uptrend of lows. Watch out, baby. Watch out. That low, that high. Support all the way down here. At this point, it's maybe where we're heading. Let's put a target on it. All right, and PlayStation Network, PSN, Parsons, roadmap line. If we can bounce, get above that 108 or 106 or 105, 105, 106 area, 118, 121, 129 upside targets. And SPUX, SBUX, Starbucks coffee. So downside, yeah, we've got this little uptrend channel going. Higher highs, higher lows. If we break below, support here at the roadmap line right there. This has a big 1-2 potential, upside potential. Up here, I am long. $100 strike calls. Kind of sitting at break even right now. I bought them down at the bottom. Looking for this bigger run. Mount to 26. Over here. Got lots of time. Looking for this to ramp up at least in the 120 area, if not all the way up in the 140, 150 area. But Starbucks. GE Veranova is just consolidating high. Caution. That may need a correction. Don't have enough chart to do anything with. Sorry. BRT is played out and potentially going to get a deeper retrace back to the roadmap line if we can hold there. If we don't hold it, watch out below. If we bounce, we can go higher, but that's probably where we're going first. And let's see, did that, BN, Barnes & Noble, Brookfield, it's not even Barnes & Noble anymore, Brookfield Corporation. Playing out, 65 maybe, roadmap line support. So there's your upside targets. There's yours. If we can bounce, we could get a bigger move. So I would kind of want a bounce, but nobody likes to sit through a pullback. So if you're long, be careful. And XRP USD. I talked about that quite a lot this morning. So if you missed the conversation, maybe you should go watch it. Starting to look like the bubble pattern. Caution, caution, caution. Hype, saving the world, chop, break down, out of this channel, and we crush all the hopes and dreams. Where's that pattern come from? Right here. Glad you asked. It comes right here. Hype. Just needs some to cool off. We'll rally again, break down, and go back to the low. It's the bubble pattern. I call it. It's the hype, market hype pattern, psychology of a market. So watch out for. Now, could it just cool off a little bit and go higher? Yeah. Well, there's always the possibility that the current chop is one of these right over here. Like we're just chopping over here and we're going higher. Always possible. Anything's possible. What does it look like? Looks a lot like we made this blow off top and we're doing this over here. Be careful. Be careful, be careful, be careful. It's your money. Comes even more clear when you look at it like this. Now it certainly can keep going higher. I mean, look at this one. We had crazy pullback over here and it bounced and went even higher. And we did it over and over a couple times. This one's been wild and crazy. As we up, all the way back down, up, back down, up, back down, up, back down. So be careful. Wild and crazy. And this one could be playing out too. Careful. That one doesn't have all the history, but pop and come back. Pop, come back. Probably gonna do it. Just like pop, come back, pop, come back, pop, come back, pop, come back. This one notorious for doing it a lot right here. Just like one of the biggest ones. Crazy. And then all the way back down. All right. Tons of examples and all time frames. Here's one of the most recent ones. Yeah, right there. Crazy up. Chop. Broke down. All the way back down. Over and over. So don't get caught up in it in XRP unless you got money to burn, baby. FTNT. Thought I already did that, but upside resistance 105. And PTVE. We're into the prior high resistance zone if we can get through it. As high as 23. Potential. Zoom. There's the gap down. Watch for that resistance right over here. It's like I said about gaps. Gotta fill that thing. We may reject it. Come back to the roadmap line before we can get through. CETX. Don't touch these. That's what I call a dumpster fire. There's no trade here. This is playing with. It was never $20,000 a share. It's not going back to $20,000 a share. If you're playing in this, you're just playing with fire, essentially. Back-to-back reverse splits within 2 months. That's going. It's on a fast train to zero, right there. And ANF. This looks played out for now. And if we get below this trend line here, maybe heading for a bigger correction very quickly. Watch out for retail sales next week. SYF. Synchrony Financial hitting its head on the 2618, which was just a crazy extension higher. This may need to retrace back down in the zone before it can find support and go again. And RK. Rocket Lab. Starting to do the consolidation. Careful. Caution. Caution. Red warning lights. Red alert. Red alert. Red alert. Boop. 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 Red alert. Consolidating before potential flush back down. You can tell me I'm full of crap if you want. Let's come talk after. Like, look, did it over here. Just a bigger one. Sucked more people in. Caution. Coming right back down. PayPal. Cautiously bullish. Looking for a move up to this 100 area right up here on PayPal. Prior resistance. That may be all she can do right now. This is kind of a 1, 2, 3 with an extended 3 off the low. And then we may do a deeper retrace. We can hold in here, maybe in the roadmap vicinity, somewhere in here. We can go higher, but that also could go lower because we didn't quite hit the downside target there. So caution on PayPal. It's hyped up with an upside target at 100, but I think that's pretty major resistance. Major, right there. Got lots to say on PayPal. All right, Yo, Owl Industries probably coming back to the roadmap line, right there. And Oxy, oh, look at that, right to the target. I'll be dang. Next target down right here if this one doesn't hold. So here's the zone. We're in it. And if we don't hold that, we're kind of probably gonna come on down a little further. See, this is what chasing. I've talked about this since Warren Buffett started buying back here, wherever it was, right here, I think it was. Warren Buffett buys, Warren Buffett buys, Warren Buffett buys, Warren Buffett buys. Probably going to buy the rest of the company. He can keep buying. And remember, drill, baby, drill is not necessarily bullish for Oxy. May take a deep retrace before we can actually bounce and get some upside. Piton. Me and Piton just do not get along. But that is the bubble pattern. Again, you see it, right? So we could, there's always the possibility we're doing one of these, and then we get the final pop. Then we get the flush and the consolidation, and back test it and drop out. Do I think it's coming back? I don't care. I'm not trading that. It's going to have to make a new trend before I do anything on Peloton. Maybe I miss out. It's not for me. FI. Looks like that wants to come back to the roadmap line right in here. Played out on the upside. Retrace would be in order. Find support and look for another trade. That high, that low. Break back about 207, looking for 232. And SWBI, just a deep consolidation. It's the warning sign when it hit its head on the roadmap line there. Is this done? 1, 2, 3. Maybe. Maybe, maybe. Maybe. This high. Came down to the 1272. Perfect place to hold. Right down at the between the 618 and the 76, right in there. So watch for a break back above the roadmap line. Nice healthy pop, break above. If so, here's the warning sign. If we start breaking back down below 10, 10, real loose, sloppy line, 10, where these lows are over here, that can result in a lower low and wrecking the potential bullish setup. Kind of resetting the whole thing. So this is a long-term, like 20-year pattern for me, looking for this kind of move up here. I do have a cost basis around 10 with thousands of shares. Large upside, but we're just working through some stuff, and this could take years. Like I bought all the way over here, and I've been sitting on it for all of this. Could take a long time to get out of here. VLT. Garbage. Absolute garbage. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. No, so much nope. Yeah, just stay away from there. SMLR. Already did AMD. Similar. This is doing the bubble pattern. Caution. Popped. Choppy. Watch for the return to the low. This is biotech, medical specialty, but it's also doing the MSTR thing. But caution on MSTR. This also looks a lot like the bubble pattern, even though I do have upside, bigger upside targets. Caution. We're chopping in this range. It can break down and go back down very quickly. Dill. Dill. Back to the roadmap line. And sometimes, look at that. Not holding the roadmap line is caution for going even lower. Turn down right at that target. So we turned down. We turned up at the 618 here. Like just zoom out and talk about what we've got going on here. Like I've talked about lots of stuff over the last few weeks, months. So Dell got spicy, right? Rallied up and then did kind of the bubble pattern a little bit and did a deep retrace. But we held this 618 level right here and then came back up, tested the roadmap line, broke through right there. Broke through right there. That kicked off the upside potential to rally to this 618, which this high, this low. Set that level right there. Came up, touched it, and retraced promptly to the roadmap line. Now, pushing below that, getting below this over here, indicates we may go lower than this low we had back here in the summer. And possibly down to 60 area. And maybe we are done on the upside and we go all the way down. So caution is advised here. It does have potential to hold this area, break back above here, and go shooting up way up here, 200. So 200 versus like 40. That's a big range. And nothing high probability at the moment. Left a giant gap down. That's no bueno. Not good. Not good for the immediate bullishness on Dell. All right, did PSN, KO. Rejected the roadmap line. Didn't even touch it, but rejected the vicinity right there. Caution for a deeper retrace. Support right there at the 618. Might be what we're gunning for right there. That low, that high. Yeah, puts the targets right there at 60. All right, FSOI. Potential to turn the bottom, but that was the lowest low, and this fib line doesn't mean jack squat, and this fib line doesn't mean jack squat. Just after we made the lower low, nothing to work off of. Very minor move up, retrace, and we're already coming into resistance. Maybe up to 13, but we have the gap fill to contend with. So there's your resistance zone right there. Not much to work with. We have a bigger upside gap down right there. All right. PEGA. Sometimes I stretch for targets and stuff like that, but golly. So you see the bubble pattern play out again right there, right? Consolidate, and came right back down. Right? You see it bounced up and came back. That doesn't mean we can't get something going off of here. But there is resistance right there. At that 102, if it gets above it, with a weekly close above there, we can go on up, potentially up to this zone. 166, maybe 181. If we turn down, probably going lower low. Key area right there. All right. That's PEGA, AP up, APLB. Man. It's at the top of the gap. Like left that gap over here at the top of it. Nasty price action. I'd stay away. I'd just stay away. Like, why do you want to trade that? Like, what's this? Oh man, there's so much opportunity here. If you can write that out, and it keeps holding that, keep going long on it. But it's the downtrend of highs below the roadmap line. Watch out. Lower low. Is that a regular split? It is a regular split. What a reverse. Regular splits have not been super bullish lately in the market. We see large pullbacks after splits over and over, like that one right there. A nice big fat retrace, and now we're working through with a potential giant upside on Chipotle. All right, MVT. Then turning down here. Need to hold that and break above that. So retrace back down. So we closed at 74. So we're getting close to that support at 72. If we get below it, support at 67, and then watch out below that. My prior fib lines were kind of in the way a little bit. But this move, this move, this move, we could go down here to 50. That's that same measured bounce move right there. Not even looking at the roadmap line. So that's that move down, that retrace to the 618.786. That continuation move would be right there. Same thing I was talking about at the beginning of the show, just upside down. Same pattern. It's that first move, copied it off of that right there. Moving on. Hey, Kimberly's here. My favorite subscriber in the whole world. That's the lowest low. Move up, retrace, move up, retrace. Possible 1, 2, 1, 2. Very extended. I'd watch out. Like this, it's due for a retrace here anytime. Maybe a 4 or 5. Matches that. I wouldn't look for much more than 20 before a bigger retrace. Maybe to a roadmap line sometime out here in the distant future. All right. That was in. Ain't it? Still gunning for... trying to remember. Yeah, we hit the target. Okay. And that's why I deleted it. We topped out right there. That's a major resistance. Did a split, 4 for 1. Watch out for a negative reaction and a bounce back. Oh, my drawings are probably way up here. Here they are. 4 for 1. 4 times higher. They're up here. And watch out for the retrace. If we don't hold the roadmap line, watch out for a deeper one. And KTOS. KTOS. So we've got this high back here, this low back here, and we're just getting into that 786 resistance where we chopped up right in there. If we get above that, try free sailing for an extension to 37. KTOS for you. SMCI, already did that. TGLS. And we're still grinding the higher. Like 90's my, I may step off at 90. I don't know. 90, 120, possibly. Feels like 120, 140 is a pipe dream. 90 would be one heck of a ride. I got in back here. That was the date I got in, 11/6/23. A wild ride. Bought shares. Beautiful. That's why the 1-2, right? Maybe even an AB. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter which way. Log mode. Giant potential upside. Just ridiculous potential upside. It's beautiful. 1, 2, 1, 2. Right up in there. Oh, I love that. Love that chart. Making a nice chunk of money on that one. Fiver. Resistance up here. And prior high right there. Not a lot of trend to work with. The trend has been down. I mean, not great. Did AMC, DocU. Nice. Got the gap to contend with, and this may go popping right up in there. Not a lot to work with. We're way past all the targets. You know, maybe 115 resistance, possibly. Right there, possible for that big 1, 2, 3. Then we go up in here, and then we do a retrace, and then we do a bigger up. Maybe. I don't know. Hard to, like, that's already extended. I played this down here, got out right in here, popping on up. And that's kind of what I see at this point. That's the opportunities not there for me anymore. Cold Realty Trust looks like we're going in the toilet. It's a nasty chart. Just wouldn't touch it. NEM. There's no change. Like if you wanna know more about this trade that I'm in, come join Termite Trading Labs. Talk about it all day. It's a big 1-2 setup. Like there's no change. Except that I might be short on time. No change. Hadn't broke anything. Didn't even disappoint me yet. Still working the pattern. I'm still up multi-100% from where I bought. SUI, USD. Upside target 580. Not enough candles to do anything with on the weekly. Barely enough to do anything on the daily. Could be playing out 580. And I just skipped down somehow, some way. QCOM. And watch out for a deeper retrace. This is not, held resistance on the upside. This is the resistance right there. And if we start breaking down below this low, it can come down into the bottom of the box here. If we get down below that, here's the target. And if we get below that, something worse. QCOM. Apple announced this week. What's going on? Just my putting pieces together. Apple announced they're going to make their own modems. They're not going to buy Qualcomm modems anymore for iPhones. They're doing away with them as an Apple supplier. Who do they sell to? That's their biggest customer, right? iPhones. So, caution. BWXT. It's where the fundamental story lines up with the chart pattern. Back to the roadmap line would be my expectation. STM. You can tell the charts that fascinate me I talk about. The ones that don't, well, I don't tend to talk about them. Resistance here and support down here. And we're on a downtrend. And BECN. Beacon Roofing. Bounced off the next upside, 123 potential, but also downside is right there. Can we hold it and bounce? Or do we come back down? Don't know. High probability move was entry right here and played out right there. That was the high probability move. Other than that, I don't know. Could retrace, could pop. Which way? Nothing's high probability, but that's your price levels. BTCO. It's 2x leverage on Bitcoin. Just take the Bitcoin chart, 2x leverage it, use the percent, and figure it out. Others is coming back down. We rejected. Coming back down. Breaking back below the high. If we don't hold it and extend it, that's where we're coming. APRE. That'd be what I expect on APRE. And in tap. Support right there. If we break below it, coming on down to deeper retrace. We played out. Look at that. Look at that big bounce. Big bounce. I've been doing this a long time, so that one I drew, and we played it out. Resistance, resistance, resistance. May need a deeper retrace at this point. Played her out. There's the low. Here's the high. That retrace back down in here. Possibly could have one more little squeak in it. One more little squeak before we do that. That's possible. Or we might just break down and come down here. All right. That's NTAP AIM. Resistance. Possible going down. AVAX, USD. Lower highs. Retrace looks like it's cooking. Have to flip this up. There's the resistance. Till we get above it, probably just gonna chop. Missed that. There's that, and there's that, and mess around in here is what I would expect. Dun, 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 dun. SCRV. And not enough Not enough candles to do anything. There's no pattern, no trend, no nothing. mRNA. Right down to the extension. Beautiful. Can't make this stuff up. So that was a upside down roadmap bounce, extension to the bottom. Can't make this stuff up. Potential to bounce back to the roadmap line. And extensions lower. 20. Potential to rally that roadmap line. And then extend lower. And dun, 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 dun. Hey, Baba. All right, ACHR. Hey, not late till I get to the end. Anyway, ACHR, Archer Aviation. Potential. So this is the caution. If we turn down right here, even if we pop up to that zone, that can result in a lower low. Need to get through that key resistance right there to go higher. That's a very key resistance there. If we were to turn down there, it's probably all over but the crying. Caution. And channel member can't find your account. I don't know. I log into. They have a little button up at the top where you can click and change accounts, like right up in here, and it's on YouTube too. Up in the upper right, your little icon for your Google account. I have like 6 or 7 Google accounts, so yeah. All right, what platform you on? That's TradingView. If I flip me to the other side, so much fire. Beautiful. Put that back. Put that back. Put this back. Put me back over here. TradingView right here. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, can't click on it. Awesome. It's gonna be a pain in the butt. See, TradingView. Black Friday sale is coming on. So TradingView right there. And good luck next year. All right. I should have paid for another account so I could run more alerts. Just thought of that. All right. Rose USD broke its pattern. See Crypto Power Plays for more information on that one. And yeah, I know you've been here, but I haven't. I've been up the list. Lucy in the Sky. Rose USD. We can look at it real quick, but it broke the pattern without even changing from Lucy like that. Looks like we're in the downtrend. It messed it up. And potentially going back down without breaking out. There you go. And all right, that's the list. Thanks for coming, everybody. It's been, gosh, almost 2 hours. Have a great day. Kimberly, I'll be home for dinner in a little bit. Love everybody. Thanks for coming. See you again tomorrow morning. Same bad time, same bad channel. 9:15 in the morning. Same channel, same time, every day. Come see me. We'll go through what's popping, what's dropping. We'll talk about the CPI that got released in the morning. We'll talk about what's potentially coming with the PPI. And we'll look for stuff that's moving. Opportunities for the day. And thanks for coming. Once again, remember, the account you save may be your own. Nobody's watching out for you more than you. There's nothing I can do on YouTube but run the stream. I literally have a button that says enable chat for people, subscribers. That's it. And I have a button that says make this content members only content. That's it. I don't even see I can't even contact each of the members. Like, it's just the way it is. YouTube is YouTube. So